Hey guys, so I finally contacted my uncle. His name is Eric, but we call him Tito Crispi. And I asked him for his Filipino BBQ recipe for when he used to sell it back in the Philippines. And no big deal. It's just somebody that makes authentic Filipino barbecue street food. Okay, no, but seriously, this was the recipe that he used when he was selling it back in the Philippines, and he made it very easy to remember. So everything is a 1-to-1 ratio, except for the black pepper, which is half. He also said to use pork butt, which is not only an affordable piece of meat, but also really tasty as Filipino barbecue. I asked him if I could use chicken thighs because that's what I had in the freezer, and he said yes, that works as well. Oh, and remember, you can check the description for a link to the recipe and for some other goodies. Okay, let's start. In this recipe, I used 1½ pounds of boneless chicken thighs and cut it into chunks that are big enough to skewer. There's 3 pounds total here because I'm making half with my uncle's recipe and then half with substitutions, which you'll see later. Grab a large bowl because you're gonna need to mix this. Now we're just gonna throw in all the ingredients, and it's gonna be the 1-to-1 ratio of everything except the black pepper. Throw in 1/2 cup of soy sauce, then 1/2 cup of vinegar. Traditionally, it's calamansi juice, or you can use lemon juice, but if you have neither, vinegar works. Then 1/2 cup of banana ketchup, 1/2 cup of soda. Traditionally, it's 7-Up or Sprite. We're using the soda to tenderize the meat because of its high acidity, but also because it's sweet, so it helps just sweeten the meat. So really, if you're in a pinch, any soda could work. Then add 1/2 cup of brown sugar that's been packed into the measuring cup, 1/2 cup of chopped onion, 1/2 cup minced garlic, and then finally, half of a half is 1/4 cup, so use 1/4 cup of black pepper. But to be honest, if you're grinding it up, this takes a long time, so you can just grind as much as you can, or use powdered pepper. Now you have to mix it all up, and my bowl was not big enough, so I'm gonna transfer this. Just make sure your bowl is big enough, and then you just mix, mix, mix. And then you just cover this and let it marinate for at least 2 hours or overnight in the fridge. Okay, so this channel is all about being able to access the ingredients, right? And so what if you don't have banana ketchup? And also, what if you don't have soda like we do all the time? So I made some substitutions, and here they are. In another bowl, add the 1½ pounds of chicken, add 1/2 cup of soy sauce, 1/2 cup of vinegar. So the acidity from the soda tenderizes the meat, but we already have vinegar in here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add more sugar to compensate for the lack of sugar from the soda and the banana ketchup that we're taking out. And then 1/2 cup of ketchup. Add 1 cup of packed brown sugar instead of 1/2 cup. Then follow it up with 1/2 cup of chopped onions, 1/2 cup minced garlic. And this time, if you really want to be accurate with the amount of black pepper that my uncle uses, take 1/4 cup of black peppercorns and crush them up as finely as you can. I could have crushed the black pepper a lot more finely, but I was too lazy. So you can use less if you want it to be less spicy. And then just mix this all up like the last one, cover it, and place it in the fridge to marinate. Hey, feel free to multiply this marinade recipe if you're gonna be cooking with more meat. Okay, once your meats are done marinating, it's time to skewer them. You don't have to skewer your Filipino barbecue, but if you do, make sure you soak your sticks for at least 30 minutes before barbecuing so it doesn't completely burn off and break while you're cooking. Traditionally, these guys are grilled, but I'll show you how to use your own oven's broiler to char these instead. Turn on your oven broiler to high and just let it preheat while you're skewering. Since we're using the oven broiler, grab a baking sheet lined with aluminum foil. After the sticks soak, skewer the meat as best you can. It's up to you how much meat you want to skewer on each stick. I'm going to do this for both marinades, and this does take some time, so if you want to save time, you can just throw these straight onto the pan without skewering. Once you're done skewering, place the tray of skewers in the oven. Our broiler is at the top of the oven, and it's an open flame, So I place a rack about 4 inches below the top and I just let this broil for 4 to 5 minutes on each side for a total of 8 to 10 minutes. Make sure you're constantly watching it so it doesn't burn because it's so close to the flame. This is pretty quick, so once it's done broiling, take it out. Now all we've got left to do is to make the sauces. So take the leftover marinade and just put it over high flame in a pot so it can reduce. Once the sauce reduces about 2/3 of the way down, you can add some cornstarch to thicken it up. Dilute about a tablespoon of cornstarch in cold or lukewarm water first before you mix it into the hot liquids. Otherwise, it'll just clump up. And then just add the cornstarch mixture slowly while letting the mixture boil until you start to see it thickening up. Once it reaches your desired thickness, allow it to simmer just a couple of minutes and then you can turn off the flame and you've got your sauce. The other dip that Filipino barbecue goes great with is vinegar. For a simple vinegar dip, you can just add a bit of minced garlic and chili pepper with your apple cider vinegar. For my uncle's vinegar dip, he also adds chopped onion, sugar, and salt to taste. And voila, here is our Filipino barbecue. And we didn't have to go outside to cook any of it. Of course, it tastes a lot different on the grill, especially if you use charcoal, but this is a great way to make it without ever leaving the inside of your house. We decided to eat this with garlic fried rice and a couple of eggs to complete the Filipino meal. If you make this at home, what are you going to eat it with? Let me know in the comments. So with the substitutions I made, we tasted it side by side and they tasted very similar. The only thing was the one with a lot more pepper is a little bit spicier, but other than that, they taste the same. Again, guys, thank you so much for always watching and supporting this channel. Remember to check out the description for the recipe and for other goodies, and I will see you next week. Bye!